Hello, friends. It is September 24th, about 11:45 Pacific time. As I see it, we all need to lift our heads up sometime from what's going on here in the States and take a look at the world. You know, as Americans, we're traditionally pretty insular in our perspective of things. We're kind of wrapped up in ourselves a lot, and that can be dangerous. Take a moment and inform yourself about what's going on in Ukraine. One of the people I would recommend that you look at is called Jake Bro. He's on YouTube, he's across social media, and he does an excellent job in reporting on what's taking place there. Now, I want to talk about that specifically because whether you know it or not, right now, Ukraine is winning this conflict. It's a David and Goliath situation, and they are winning with the death of 1,000 cuts. Russia is a resource economy. They export oil, natural gas, and raw materials. That's it. They don't really sell any refined goods on the market. They do have gas processing for cars and trucks and aviation in their country, which they also sell in Eastern Europe, particularly Belarus. But, here's the but. Their budget is made entirely, almost entirely, of the money they get from that resource sale. And Ukraine has very smartly taken up a strategy of attacking their oil and gas industry ruthlessly. They're pounding their refineries. They're blowing up pipelines. Within the past 2 weeks, they blew up a pipeline that serves Hungary, which is an illiberal nation that is part of the European Union, and the Czech Republic, also an illiberal nation in the European Union. So those countries are now without their natural gas. Now, Belarus has been getting its gasoline from Russia. Not anymore. So Belarus is teetering. Now, why this is important is because of the old adage Samuel Clemens had, Mark Twain, where he said history doesn't repeat, but it sure does rhyme. Russia has a historic trend to having massive political upheavals take place in October. And with that stated, Putin knows he's losing, and he's going to become erratic. Why this matters for us is because he's flying drones into NATO airspace. He flew his MiGs into Estonian airspace, hoping to prompt a response from NATO. Why this matters is because a response by NATO would give him cover to say, NATO, all these nations of NATO are at war with us. Please, China and North Korea, send troops. Now, previously, North Korea sent troops, 10,000, who were in a couple of months either captured or slaughtered. There was poor integration, poor equipment, poor training. It didn't move the needle at all in the conflict. But if Putin could portray that he was at war with all of NATO, then he could compel North Korea and China to send troops. North Korean troops, 100,000, would be problematic. 100,000 Chinese troops, well-equipped, well-trained, would shift the conflict. So, time is of the essence for Putin. He's going to become erratic. His campaign of trying to terrorize NATO also has a secondary goal, and that is to get NATO members in Europe to say that they need Article 5 activated, which I think is Article 5, but it says that if an attack happens on one NATO country, all of the NATO participants, including the United States, come to their defense. We already know what would happen if that took place. that would give Donald Trump cover to pull out of NATO, which he desperately wants to do. After his abysmal speech and the reception he got at the UN yesterday, I have to suspect also he wants to try and pull us out of the UN. Now, why would he want to do that? Dictators want to isolate. They're like abusive boyfriends. They use cult indoctrination techniques. They want to isolate us. So, in brief, enlighten yourselves about what's taking place, because this could impact us. This could impact us. The Ukrainian conflict impacts us. And we need to be aware of that. It's in our best interest, in our struggle here, that Ukraine kicks the living shit out of Russia. That Putin faces a challenge to his power in October, likely falls, and Russia becomes deluded in an internal struggle, because there are no successors. Putin has killed everybody off. So it's not going to be an easy handoff. And with Russia pulled out of the world's geopolitical game, that takes away a pillar of support for the other dictators in the world, including the one we have here. So open your eyes, people. Educate yourselves. Be heartened, with what we saw with our success with getting ABC Disney to relent and bring Jimmy Kimmel back. We know what we have to do. Stay active, keep pressing, stay loud, stay vocal, help each other, educate each other. As I said, I highly recommend Jake Bro. He is amazingly informative. Just from going to his page for a few minutes, you will be informed in things that our media just doesn't cover. Most people here are not aware of the fact that Russia has lost 1 million soldiers in this conflict. That's huge. I think the population of Russia is like 159 million. That's a huge number of men to lose. So this is not going well for Russia, and it's not going well for Putin, and that probably is going to bring his end about, and that will impact us. So, as I said, information is a tool. Use it. Educate yourselves. Be aware of what things could impact your life. We don't exist in a vacuum. And to the extent that we can all help each other become educated, then we can all help each other get through this. We're winning, okay? It's a hard slog, I know. But keep it up. Stay loud. Go carefully, friends. Spirit be with you.